Oh, Odin, I see you, man. Way to go. Keep up the good work. You're absolutely killing it. Shout out to the chat room members who are locking it in. It is nice to see the students getting some nice gains. For those people tuning in on YouTube as usual, remember to hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Keep in mind that day trading is risky business. Do not trade with money that you cannot afford to lose. Do not trade with money that you cannot afford to lose. I'll say it again. Remember, my results are not typical. Remember, copy trading does not work. Remember, I do not invest for my subscribers, so be careful of fake accounts. All right, Relentless Trader will never message you first. With that being said, the watch list is listing. We got a couple of them, including BLSK, BURU. I can do percentage order actually. GITS. VIVK did sell off, but you know, it could be worth keeping an eye on for later in case it curls up. And GITS I think is really the main one here, which is up 234%. GITS. BURU is a little cheaper, but you know, it does look good. SBET is also worth putting on the list. It's up at $100 today, but you know, you never know. You never know. We might end up just trading that one. I think I'll leave these four here. Guys, don't forget to hit the thumbs up as you're tuning in. PBM also hitting scans. Now moving up, lighter volume. There's 9 minutes to the opening bell. I did trade VIVK. I bought it a little late towards the higher side of this green candle. You know, you never know which ones will kind of, you know, keep going, but the consolidation itself wasn't bad. We did hold up 150s, but it did sell off. We got some good trades, but we still also got caught primarily on this big green candle at the top towards the highs. I'm in at like 20 on a small pullback. We're down there at like 95, so we took a loss there. But small size nevertheless. As you guys know, for me, pre-market will be small size. I did step away and missed GITS, which looks like it was pretty decent. This one here held up and kept going, which is nice to see. So this will be the leading stock coming into the open. The main stock will have this one here up. So 388 for the pre-market highs. We have lows of the first pullback. The absolute lows are down here around 286. VWAP currently at 313. Let's add that trend line. Looks good. So far, it's flagging. It's going sideways. We're consolidating. Pretty electric move early. So we'll see, you know, how it does here into the open. We might need some time before it does go, but other than that, looks pretty good. 568, the 200 EMA. 568. So no major resistance up until that level. BURU, which might end up being a strong stock here today as well, did start off in after hours, pushed up today after having some lows. Lows are all the way down here around 32 cents. However, as of our recent pullback and breakout and pullback, we had 48.50, 48.50 for highs, and initial lows around 40 cents. Double bottom down there too. VWAP also around that level. So, we'll see if we're able to hold up above VWAP and then continue the uptrend into the open. So BURU looks pretty decent as well. Again, 112% move with 170 million shares of volume. I'm going to turn on my screen recording so I don't forget. And also, there's a couple other quick things. Someone is adding me. Pre-market was decent, Steve. It looks like it was decent. VICK and then GITS. GITS, though, I did miss. I did miss GITS. I'm hoping today is the last day that I kind of have to do stuff in the morning. Like, I have to leave the house for an hour between like 6:30 and 7:40, 7:35, somewhere there. If I don't have to leave, I'll have my morning routine done so that I can stay in front of the computer through and through, right? Which will be next week. Hopefully, there's nothing that can come up. Sometimes things come up, and you got to do what you got to do. That's what's really prevented me from being here like a robot. Because 7 a.m. is what I'm planning to do for start time, right? Let's see. VK, as we just mentioned, was an early pre-market push, but as of right now, sold off a good amount. Might not be worthy here. Let's see, BSLK. How are we doing on this one? Time. There's 4 minutes. I want to pull up this 10-second chart before we start. Have that ready. Yeah, BSLK. Up 75%. It did pull back a little bit, but not too much to where we're looking pretty bad. On this type of stock, of course, we'd want to see the red to green. So it looks okay, and we're around somewhat of a double bottom area here in the pre-market chart. So if this one can gain volume and curl up, it could be interesting. But as of right now, I don't think anyone will have this as their main stock, and that's worth mentioning. SBET, definitely continuation and strong. Is the type of stock that maybe goes to 150, right? Yesterday I didn't look at it because the volume was lower. Typically higher in price, lower in volume. Bigger spreads as well up here as we go. But it doesn't mean that there's not going to be opportunity. I'm pretty sure some people are still swinging this one. And there are still opportunities for day trades in certain key setups. And, the chart looks fairly clean here, all things considered. So SBET definitely one that's worth keeping an eye on for anybody who doesn't mind the higher price range. Yeah, other than that, GITS will be the main. And then I'll have BURU as a second string, BSLK and SBET as third and fourth. But it all comes down to where the momentum is. Wherever the momentum is, if SBET is going to 500 today, that's where we need to be. So with that being said, it's another beautiful day, another chance for us to manage risk, another chance for us to improve, another chance for us to make adjustments, and look forward to trading our best here with the momentum in front of us. It's always key to remember to trade the market that we're in and not the market we want to be in. And so we have to take the context as we go, depending on how the pre-market, not the pre-market, but how the action is here into the open. That's what we need to follow. If we're seeing good breakouts and we want to take those trades, if the pullbacks are holding, then we want to be in at the support levels. It all comes down to the price action here and the patterns. Looking to be sharp, looking to be quick as the 2-minute warning is hitting. And also looking for everyone on the YouTube channel to hit the thumbs up because we have almost 500 people in the building. 500 people in the building. Will you go live at 7 a.m.? I'll be trading alone. I'll probably be in the chat room from time to time, but I'll start the live stream earlier, around like 8:30, 8:50, once I'm able to finally get freedom here in my schedule, right? I kind of just have some stuff going on this week, but I should be good for next week, hopefully. Yeah, and I think another thing that I'll probably continue to do too is make more hotkeys as I go, because the moment I see something that I need, I'm just gonna add it, right? Implement it, and then just keep going from there. So GITS into the open, pre-market lows here were 287. We'll see if it's able to respect this level. We got highs at 388. Let's trade to the best of our abilities here. Another beautiful day. In the chat, we got Big Steve in the building, Hollis, Odin, Rob, Ron. Alice is in the building, SF, the OG. SF, the heart sergeant. We got a heart sergeant in the building, also day trading and doing well. Shout out to the team. Yeah, Peter, I see you, man. What's up? You're just taking it slow, waiting. If you're now tuning in on YouTube, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Yeah, SF, man, it's all love here. Shout out to the team. So far, GITS has been sideways here. We've been holding up around 290 so far. It's still respecting the low of that pre-market level. Okay, I'll check it out. RRGB. Okay. Highs are at 544. There's 13. Slightly higher fill, but fine. Can we see back over 30? GITS. Let's pull this one over here. The dip is going to curl up nicely, but after that, a little bit of chop at the highs. RRGB. And it can move quickly, so you got to manage risk here. A halt up wouldn't be a bad thing to see here. 62 and might get halted up 62. Also watching to see if the halt level extends. Okay, it will. It's going to chase it down instantly there. 72 to halt up. $35 for lows right there. Watching for the curl back to 50. Can we see 55, 60, and beyond? $32. I got filled fairly high at 40 there. It's coming down. First pullback, perhaps Christmas tree. Perhaps. We'll see what it does here. We got lows now 22. Is BLSK worth it? R RRGB coming down. High of day was 17. We got a high now of 50 over the last 2-3 candles. The 5-minute candlestick looks a little weak right now. So we're pulling back in a bit of a tougher spot here for BSLK. We got SBET and RRGB halted down. Both of those halted down. How about BLRX? Let's see. Watching it BLRX. So my okay. $42. A bit of a double top at the highs right there. Again, it's trying again. The VWAP is at 84. which could be the next target if we don't reject the highs here. If we can get through for BLRX. We do have a new 5-minute candle, but the chart looks better than the other stock that we just looked at. I was pulling back, giving it a chance again. Was going to add below the whole dollar, but held up tightly there. The 5-minute pullback wouldn't be that bad either if it is to happen. It looks like we might see it. Let's see where we base out. Could be a good setup here. How about S-bet resumption? How did that go? Still halted down. Okay, watching BLRX, waiting. It looks like it's a quicker red to green here though. Was expecting a long pullback there. It's pretty brief. We'll see if there's an early pullback. Highs 25. Definitely chasing it here a little bit. And it is having a hard time for new highs. Tight stops. Over 40 is the key. Over 40 is the big level. VWAP is 79. If we're to break 40, I'd expect to see you push through 50. And then potentially VWAP. Tight stops, just throwing out an order here to see what it wants to do. BLRX, what will it be? I'll have to just watch out for a full retest of the lows. That's about it. Over 30, we should see the retest. If it goes over 30, we should see the retest of the highs. Watching, seeing some selling pressure. But there's no drop. Where's the volume? The volume just went into oblivion. I'm gonna go on the sidelines for a sec. Okay. It held. I got filled above the ass there. I don't know. The volume is kind of, volume seems like it's kind of dying out of the stock here. After a good attempt at the up at the highs, the dip held up. Now it's like ghost town. Will we be able to build off of 6 here and retest 40? And there's about 4 minutes in this 5-minute candle, so it's still pretty young. This thing is... I just don't like to see the volume coming in and out of stocks like this, but, trying to give it a chance. Big Steve, bro, that was a nice move. What are you talking about? Big Steve, that thing went from 586 to 644, a dollar a share. Almost a dollar a share. It kind of just like is dying out here for no reason, but we'll see. Maybe it retests the lows, the absolute lows of the pullback. Maybe it sells off. LVWR, which is hitting the scans. LVWR. BLRX 62 dip is going to give a bit of a bounce. It's like none of these stocks are moving like a traditional hot stock would move, or at least the look, the feel. It's like after pre-market, everything just kind of died. So LVWR, maybe we can get there if it keeps going. The high was 32. See, this is why it's good for me to pull it up on the main screen. And now I'm seeing that it's continuation through the 200 EMA, 467. All right, this one definitely has potential here. I will be watching and waiting. Does it mean business through 50? Because it didn't dip there. There's a seller. It's getting bought up. Oh, come on. We haven't had a pullback, a real pullback on the 1 minute. I do want to be careful of that, but it might just keep going here. See, I keep making this mistake where, and I'm going to say it's a mistake because whilst my fill is higher there, there's still a lot of room to the upside. So I cut the trade instantly. I could have caught that entire move. And it's one and done on the dip. No consolidation there. Not dipping. Oh, okay. It is dipping. Jesus Christ. Bro, my fills are just all over the place, man. And it seems like it's having trouble. I mean, it isn't coming down below 80 though. How it seems like it's having trouble. That did hold up there for the double bottom. Mm, 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 mm. The new 5 minute candle is about a minute 30 seconds. Oh, my fills are so bad. Is this backside? Or are we going to see some support down in the previous range? Selling pressure not super high. The stocks these days are moving in such an interesting way. But I will say here, we held up mid 30s, which is a good. I didn't jump in, but it held up nicely. Another pullback might come. Will we see the early pullback off the lows? Yeah, mid 30s, you know, I honestly was waiting for a little bit more selling, but selling pressure was light, all things considered, and it's a quick curl. It's good to see. It's good to see that that level worked. So it tells me, alright, if I see another level, I'm just jumping in with a tight stop. As long as we don't dip to the previous lows again right away immediately, it looks fine here. Watching. I'll take a couple cents. It might be getting ready here soon. The volume is slowing down a little bit. No breakout. Well, my intuition there was in the depths. Thought we were gonna get a good breakout. Not quite. Will the second time be the charm? Bro, my fills are insane right now. This is the worst I've seen in the last 2 months. This is the worst I've seen in the last 2 months, 100%. I sold the dip at 40 because it dipped so much below the level. I figured I'll take the pop and watch for the full retest of the lows. Ended up being a higher low. Normally, if we're like a tighter break, 46, 47, but 40, 39 is like this thing might as well retest the lows at this rate. I'm gonna watch to see how we do with the 5 minute candle, the next 5 minute candle here in the next minute. BMGL's moving up a little bit. Why did I think that breakout was gonna work? Yo, come on, man. Ah, what is this? And now this nonsense of a dip and rip is gonna go, right? Come on, bro. Just so stupid, man. Like, alright, small size, small size. Pre-market, that goes to $6 right there. In the open, it goes to the depths. BMGL. Alright, BMGL. I'm pretty late to it, but we'll see. Why can't I take a trade? What's going on? Orders must be placed with a broker. LVWR, just sell off already, man. Let the short sellers get a quick victory, boost their confidence, so that on the next stock when we go, they can cover into oblivion, into the new highs. Oh man. The dip at 40 there, you know, we're coming off of a breakout trade at 70 area. We got to 75 and then flush down. Or 70, somewhere there. 72, 75. So once we flush down to 40, I'm kind of giving it that a little bit more time just in case we see that secondary flush. The thing is back at 255, 260. Actually, I wonder if I could trade this on E-Trade. Pulling out the E-Trade order entry. BMGL. LVWR is at the view up. Nothing over 10 there for the new high. It's working on E-Trade, which means it should work on Thinkorswim soon. They'll flip the switch here at any moment. It is pretty extended as well, which is worth mentioning. LVWR did hold up, which is good. I guess that's good. We want to see another uptrend though. LVWR, the dip is going to hold nicely. So switching away from LVWR was not the best idea there. It's going to curl up nicely. BMGL is pulling back though. We went from 133 to 214 without 5-minute pullback. So watching the range here. LVWR back at 60. No, nothing is ever immediate. And then there's more selling. There's a hidden buyer there at 90. LVWR. Will this time be the charm though? If we get up to 75 and we're back down at 40 or 30 again, it's gonna be tough. There's a seller at 70. Come on, hold up, fly, 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 fly. Good. A winning trade at long last. Dang, we didn't really dip there. Over 91 could be interesting. Come on, show me over 91. Over 91. 87. I gotta pull it up on the screen here. Spin. Come on, man. Give us something. Give us something. It's a weird one, all right. All right, it held up. Dang. Oh no. Oh, I sold that a little early. We got to be careful of a false breakout. Dang, bro, I got 92. I sold a little early. Short sellers should be covering into oblivion. Like, this thing should be 25, 30, 40, 50. Like, people are short on the stock. People are short on the stock. It should be flying here. It should be flying. It should be flying to new highs. It should be mooning. Where's KB? He's been on vacation. KB, come on, man. We need the extra boost. Don't you freaking dare, bro. Why are we selling off on such a big move? I get way too confident in these areas. Bro, why are we dipping till to 70 after breaking the whole dollar? It is gonna hold, and I guess I added too soon there for 80s. Maybe too aggressive. Like 75. I mean, like, why are we seeing a 5-minute pullback in the first, breakout here over the new highs? Are we gonna go lower? Typically, we want to see that tighter pullback. And these stocks, I tell you, these stocks are in the depths. Davy Jones locker. What it is that over 490, I'm expecting the uptrend. We pull back from 509 to 570 in an uptrend. Like that's it's like come on. So I'm taking a dip down there so confidently, so aggressively, only to get slapped in the face. It seems like it's still getting shorted. Don't worry, they're gonna have to cover. They're gonna have to cover, and the stock is gonna start to fly. And then we're gonna get a real uptrend and a halt up, perhaps. People are definitely short on this. But because everything's been so weak, except maybe SBET, short sellers are probably just adding to their positions, not covering. I'm gonna sit here patiently and wait for the stock to move like I know it can. VURU, cheaper stock, made a decent move. High of 45, below 38. Jumping in for a starter here. That's too much, man. BURU. Should have never looked back. I'm gonna miss that dip. Looking back at that nonsense. Oh no. I'm gonna throw water into my mouse. It's not good. Cooked. And that turned out to be a real good pullback. Missed this dip, man. This is a nice dip. Okay. Or these stocks move so. Mm. What's the time and what's hitting? BLRX. BLRX hitting the scans. This one's actually at $7. Could be interesting. I'll re-average. Oh, where's the boost? Where's the boost? Right there. All right. This one might need more time. And then BLRX. So the first two candles, they're pretty good, but no continued uptrend once again. The uptrends are not lasting long. We're seeing sideways and then even down. McSteve, I'm down $300, brother. Just a slow day. Waiting for something else. BURU, well, waiting for BURU to see if it continues to hold up here. You know, we have higher volume in our red candles than we do our green candles going up. Man, these stocks are just so bad. Like they're not. This is like a night and day for like not normal hot stocks. As bad, as bad, not bad, but most of these other stocks are just not it. BLRX. What was some other ones? VK, RRGB, GITS pre-market, really nice, but then into the open, nothing. All right, still gonna keep an eye. Just I'll trade till about 12 p.m. here today. So buckle up, grab your popcorn. The night is still young. The night is still young. 42.8. Show me 42.8. 42.8. 42.8. 42.8. 42.8. Good. Good. 43. Watching. Aggressive buy right there. And Jeopardy music, nothing. These stocks, I tell you, man. Like, why are we dipping again after just holding up? Why? This dip is unnecessary. Bro, the next hot cycle, it will be over. I'm going stocks like this. I'm using 100,000, 150,000 size, one trade. 200,000 size, one trade. When we're seeing the moves, the follow through, then I'm gonna even go to 400,000 shares and keep buying as we make new highs and rip. Not this nonsense here. Pulling teeth, as Wrong Bet would say. Watching the paint dry. Scraping the bottom of the pan is what this momentum is right now. Pulling teeth. Okay. Come on. Alright, whatever. The 1 minute candle to make the new high to continue is in the depths. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit the thumbs up. Oh, for the people asking about Marcelo's channel's got a strike, so he deleted every video, which I told him was an overreaction. He did take down all his videos, and he's like, he's going to start fresh. But part of him getting this strike is that his channel is down for like a week. He cannot upload for like a full week or two. So he's just waiting. I told him he might have gotten a little too political, you know, and although he's not political, but he does post about Elon and like Trump and how that can help Tesla. Some people, they kind of get touchy-feely about that stuff, and before you know it, your video's getting reported, and then you're in the depths. Part of the deal. Everyone's channel will get reported every now and again, a couple times. So Marcelo will be back in about. In fact, he almost was going to live stream today on this channel, but I was able to lock it in. Clickbait. Yeah, I guess all that stuff. Well, part of being a YouTuber is that you kind of have to clickbait a little bit, right? But the biggest one I think that people probably don't like, because, you know, for me, Red Days would get, if I post a Red Day recap, it gets way more views than a Green Day recap. And I think if people think that you're red, but then you're actually green, they probably they probably get upset and report the channel. I don't know. It's kind of funny thinking about this stuff, but now BURU rips up after slapping me in the face 3 times here. When I throw in the towel to then read the chat is when it goes. Oh man. These stocks, I tell you. Looking at it like we held up the lows a couple times, we're getting the 1 minute candle to make the new high. And here we are slamming back down. Yeah, but the Mighty is still live streaming every day for our students in the chat room. Every single day without fail. The Mighty also live streams pre-market too. So you guys can always check him out there for the students. If you guys ever want to know how anybody's doing, they're all in the chat, right? All the team house members, students, they're all in the chat room every day. So for the people on YouTube, they're like, man, where's Marcelo? And everyone in the chat room is like, Marcelo just sent a message 30 seconds ago, you know? The people love free. And so the YouTube stream is here for all the people who love the free chat. What's high of the day here? 848. And there's nothing else really moving. This stock is up 116%, so it should be obvious. There's decent volume for the most part. It's like this should easily take over as a stock of the day and make an uptrend up to 70 cents, 60 cents is what typically would happen. Everything else kind of selling off. SBET, having some trouble. This is the most obvious one right now. LVWR had some trouble. And yet it's moving as if people are barely looking at it. BSLK. I'm just waiting for them to flip the switch again because that's what's going to happen. Just figuratively imagine, somebody just flipping that switch, turning on the fire for the real momentum again. And then in just 2 months, we can make enough for a decade. There's a couple people that'll go short in the community. I know Lucas goes short every day. He's one of the students. Shout out to Lucas. I think I think it was Lucas who had the 250,000 month. Yeah, Lucas goes short. He'll call out his shorts. There are some other guys too. Is anyone in the team house green this month? Yeah, Marcelo's green. Marcelo's been making like 10,000 a day. I mean, I don't know what the hell he's doing, but he's turning water into wine. Tim, I think Tim is green. I think Tim is green. Tim should be green because at the beginning of the month he had like a nice hot streak for the first 2 weeks. I think he's been on vacation though for like a week or a couple days at least mid month, so that might have slowed him down a little bit. And then I know Save the monster is on vacation for like 2 weeks. Save the traveler, definitely the most traveled in the group, I believe. I gotta call Crispy today. I'm saying this for like 3 days now, 2 days. I gotta call the Crisper. Gotta call the Crisper. Crispy's a good guy too, man. Crispy has we've hung out at a couple of car meets and stuff, man. That's always a good time. For anybody who's into cars, we went to some drifting stuff at this track. Good times. And I'm talking too much here. Not watching closely enough. 41 to 45. GPUS. So strange how there's volume, but it almost feels as if there's no volume, you know? It's like the stock is barely moving, it's crawling. So again, that question of, are people going to converge onto one stock here? It seems like the momentum is like scattered. FAAS, RRGB. And this is part of my problem for sure. Is that having to wait like this, and then it's like the stock will give this random green candle. Sometimes it's not even coming from a place where it makes absolute sense. Like right here, random green candle. Oh, did I go short by accident? That's not good. There's shares available though, at least it lets me know that. So there's a push towards the highs. Damn, bro, I'm late and I'm filled into the moon. Damn it. Okay, hopefully it comes alive here. Man, trying to get breakouts are tough these days, eh? Oh, there's a wall, there's a wall, there's a wall. I'm getting cooked. Bro, this is just so annoying, man. Some of those fills are just out of this world. And then the pullbacks aren't really existent in that move. Very tight, maybe 9/10 of a cent. We got highs at 50. 1 minute candles made the new high. We had sellers last time. Do we have sellers this time? There are a few. And it's going to rip right through. No hesitation that time. It went right through those sellers. Pretty brutal drop there. Our candle can't afford to go lower here. It's just a sell off if it does. Cooked on the way up, cooked on the way down. Ay, ay, ay. I'm checking some of these entries here. And it 47, 4, out at 48. This is 29 to 10. 11, 1109.29 to 1109.45, 11, and then 1110.08. So in at 47.4, out at 48. Out at 48. 48.03, 48.10, 48.91 to then 48.76. 51.69. Oh gosh. Yeah, that wasn't gonna work. 50.11. And then 49. Yeah, the break of 50 was not bad. It did go through instantly though. No hesitation with those big sellers. Not a long uptrend, but you know, something. Fills are definitely cooked. All right, anyhows, I don't know if anything else is moving. Let's see. I'm checking in on the YouTube stream. Let's see. Bro, I can't believe. See these stocks, man, I tell you. What site do you guys use in terms of this, in terms of trading or scanners? By the way, I gotta add this link to my bio for this, for Day Trade Dash. I still haven't done it, which isn't good. Just in case anybody wants to check it out. You know what? And I'm forgetting to go short on backside in areas like this. Although it's a little tough to do because even the last trade I took there at 47, that would have to be the trade that I'm taking to go short, right? The 49 entry. But instead, I'm taking one last trade here to see if it'll reclaim the level. But that trade could be a short trade, but I have to program my mind to take that short because this one there are shares available. I'd have to program my mind because if I go long right there and then stop to go short, it's like it's almost like I'm chasing the short, you know. Being that we're highs at 52, I'd be going short all the way down at like 48, 47, which is a little bit more tough. Versus if that trade to check and see if it's failing or not is a short trade. If it's reclaiming or not, rather, that trade needs to be a short trade for me to be short confidently. But it's a nice pullback here, a nice flush out. If you did catch 50, 49, 48. Uh, Solomon, don't worry, man. I know right now it's a little slow, but you have to have faith, brother. You have to have faith. The pennies were probably net green on the pennies. Like out of our total gains, at least like 100,000, I'd say, at least. Let's see. Is there any questions or anything? I'm getting ready to shut it down here. We're at 700. Bro, what a miserable month. What a slow year. Just absolute depths. Actually, let me upload it because I haven't uploaded for the month since I think like the 18th. Trader view. We did have a little bit more size today for the pennies. Calendar. This month has been miserable. Ah, day trading, I tell you. You gotta love it. Import account statements. Yesterday we wrestled with the other stock for like 2 hours. A lot of the quickness in the price action is also not there. Everything seems to be slower, which isn't ideal for the hyper scalps. Documents, save, import trades, upload file, documents. What time is it? 11:20. Another day in the markets. Checking out the chat here. Today, 9:41. Sello, some pre-market trades perhaps. Oh no, that's after the open actually. BURU. Jumpman had a really nice month. Shout out to Jumpman here, one of the students. Absolutely sensational there. Oren, who is coming for that interview soon. Looks like a decent month. Checking out some of the calendars here. I'll pull it up here in a sec. Massive Tim. 89,000 on the month from Massive Tim. The Pastor here in the depths as the chat room is celebrating some sweet gains. Red month recap. Here, I'll go to full screen. Let's bring it to full screen. BURU back at 50 after that massive flush. Definitely looked like backside, which is why sometimes you can't really rule them out. When, you know, a bit of a hammer candle there to start the move and then it just took off. So from 45 to 50 in the last 5 minutes there. Let me see quickly how the 5-minute chart is looking. We had a bit of a topping wick with that sell-off. For people going all the way till 4, 5, 6 into after hours, is definitely worth keeping an eye. Okay, let's pull up the calendar again. Let's zoom in. We had 2 bigger red days. Well, 1 bigger red day into our trader rehab, which was the 28th. Ticker symbol Was it SGN or something else? Was SGN a penny stock or? Oh, okay. This is the one we got caught over for. Yeah. This was a massive loss here. Buying into the previous resistance. The previous resistance, which I was looking for to be support. This one sold off. I mean, just look at the flush out. Destroyed there for SGN. So this was one of our bigger red days in our trader rehab, which wasn't good. Trader rehab started on the 21st. On the 21st. The 27th, another slow day. Lots of red trades. It's been quite the year here, honestly. Ever since January, February, it's been depths. January was a bit of a slower month too. Likewise, honestly, the entire year for me has been a little slower. February, really and truly one solid day, you know, to coming into March where we actually had the first red month. And then April, a little slower as well. And then May, red 7,000. Not good. Not great. Not ideal. Not ideal. So in comparison to last year, you know, like some of the sweeter months, even just to this point in the year to start, it definitely is quite the difference, right? So you had January here, then February, and then March. April, things slow down. So, you know, in terms of last year's pace, we're absolutely in the depths where we May, right? May was a bit of a slower month, I believe, but all green months still, nevertheless, last year, right? So definitely a slower pace here. If we're to beat last year's gains, we need an insane back half of the year, or maybe just some good momentum, honestly. Good momentum and size. You know, more sustained and consistent uptrends, especially into the open, not just pre-market. Although we're starting to trade pre-market. Over time, we'll see how much of an impact that has. BENF. Honestly, I'm looking to shut it down here. Looking to shut it down, brother. Yeah, BURU, BENF. I'm going to leave anything that's like moving up now and just kind of look through, show you guys what's going on here into this year, and then kind of then call it. So May, you know, not the best month. I always say that if I know I would be red, I would just not trade and then spend the money on something else. You know, I'd go, of course, there's always maintenance and bills, and then beyond that, you know, like a shopping spree or something. Giving 7,000 to the markets, man. Net, let's go on net. Giving 7,000 to the markets. 8,000 after net. 8,000 to the markets. Jesus Christ. Goodness gracious. And then April. 47. March. Bro, I haven't had a red month in years. Like, holy shit. The Pastor going through a midlife trading crisis here. Although mentally I feel fine, you know, when I show up here every day, there's always that confidence to do well. But it's, you know, a day like today, looking at a stock like BURU on the way up, forget the backside, forget any loss below, you know, the dip below 50. It's just nonsense there. So much nonsense on the way up. You know, I mean, I guess what I could do, I could make a change, right, in terms of like aggression. I could tomorrow just start buying every single trade, every single area. So for example, you know, that break of 50 where I'm like, okay, we had sellers last time and we kind of hesitated and pulled back. You know, how are we going to react to the same sellers again, right? I could just jump in, see what it does. And in that case, it would have worked, right? We went from 49 to then 53. Which is a massive trade. 3 cents is massive for this type of price range. Instead, I'm like, okay, let's wait to see how it reacts before looking to get in. It just goes instantly. You know, a lot of that is also part of what's been happening. Like those areas like that. Like it seems kind of silly too, because you can be wrong, but at a certain point it becomes very, very, very ridiculous, right? Where on a trade where I decide to then hold, there's the flush. On a trade I decided to say, okay, I'm just gonna look for the quick pop of the 3 to 5 cents. We then see a 15-20 cent push. Like, bro, there's no way. There's no way that this can last. You know. So it's kind of funny when I look back at it and it's like, bro, what is this? But at the end of the day, this is also the reality of the field, is that you can go through a tough time. There are some other traders who've had issues, and there's also been some other traders who've had no issues, right? So shout out to all the people who are still able to get it done here in the last 2-3 months. As I'm going to pull up the chat room here, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to share this other screen here. So for the people listening in, they can also see the monthly metrics here. And let's start from the top to bottom. Let's go all the way up to 9:30 a.m. So by the way, Jumpman, shout out to Jumpman. We're going to start kick it off with Jumpman right here. Jumpman had a sensational month here, and looks to have perhaps turned the corner into April of this year, and it's now pushing over 30,000. Jumpman will reach out for an interview. Jumpman, one of the students. So any of the purple names here, you guys will see are students as well. So again, the community is still doing all right, despite the past store fumbling a couple of months here. May, I mean, this is insane consistency too. But I'm also noticing, unless his trader view stat is the settings are to not split per execution, I am noticing less trades here, about 20 trades a day on average, 16, 30, 15, 17. So I'm not sure if it's the trader view settings or if he is taking less trades for the Jumpman. So we'll reach out for the interview, and you know, we'll ask a couple of questions there and share it to the YouTube community. Grandpa John had a red month, down 1,100 with smaller size. Oren had a nice month here, looks like. Average gain, total gains 5.5. Oren, way to go. And Oren, we spoke plenty in the past, and you know, he's been working every day to increase his consistency and get better. Zay, also in the building here. The later we go, more people will continue to head out, but we still got a couple of people watching on and listening in the chat as well. Zay, way to go. Zay has been around for a long time too, I think for at least 4 years. So it's great to see him getting to the other side here and locking in some gains. The Mighty, not even a red day for the Mighty, but the rate he's going and the pace he's going. Cool, man. Getting it done. Small green. So you'll notice some people have smaller size depending on, you know, if they're like now going through the learning curve. Maybe they're trading for a few months in and, you know, a little bit more size, things like that. Big Steve, a decent month. Not the month that Big Steve would like, of course, but decent month nevertheless. Ending green. And the red days are smaller. Shout out to Big Steve, locking it in. Jimmy B, let's see. Red on the month overall, but showing some good signs and improving. So that's good to hear there. Good to hear for Jimmy. Good to hear. Progress. Dash, who's, by the way, guys, Dash is showing some insane gains. Dash has recently turned the corner. Dash is also a student. He's been around the channel for, I think, 3 or 4 years as well. And he's one of the people who would help out with moderation, right? So like kicking out people on the YouTube stream for going too crazy, you know, that type of stuff. Shout out to Dash. Dash has turned the corner, I believe, the last 3 months or so. And he's one of the students who've also turned the corner in style, right? Absolute style. right? So insane gains there for Dash, and the equity curve is smooth sailing. So again, we still had some traders do really nicely on the month here. Dan also doing well on the month, 6,000, slowly but surely here, locking in about $300-400 on average and getting it done. Week number 5, a decent week here with about $1,200. Shout out to Dan. It's still early, so later into the day we'll have more people post. I think I did see Tim. Okay, here we go. There's Tim. He didn't post the calendar yet, so he's probably still trading. He's going to probably import later into the day. So we can make either another video over the weekend or on Monday. I can come back and show you guys how the rest of the chat room did. Because most people are going to post the calendar once they're done trading, like at the end of the day. So we'll keep coming. We'll see who else will put. Mighty, 92,000 for the Mighty. And I mentioned a couple of times, Mighty's been making like 10,000 a day, basically, right? Forget any red day you see here. The Mighty has been making about 10,000 a day. $92 billion. No, I was going to say 92 bands, which is a little bit more of slang talk. We got to keep it professional. 92,000 for the Mighty, getting it done. And of course, Marcelo is the other mentor. So for people who are saying, where's Marcelo? Where's Marcelo? As mentioned to you guys, if you're in the chat room, Marcelo just posted 30 seconds ago for a call out or like a, his trade idea. So if you're not in the chat room, you guys can always check out the chat room at any time. I can post the link as well if you guys would want to, right? So whilst the Pastor is having a hard time, the community is still holding it down. Shadow saying 2.1 after fees. We're going to have at least another 20, 30 people post their calendars later towards the end of the day. So shout out to the community for holding it down here. And this is some insane consistency from some of the guys too. And I think that might have been it. Yesterday was more so individual gains. Yeah, a lot more people are going to post later in the day when they're done. But yeah, so really nice to see from the community here. The Pastor has to up his game and make the adjustments. It's been so insane these I don't know, for me and what I like to see. I think it's definitely been a little bit more tough, a little bit more tricky of a market. My total trades are down a little bit. So as mentioned earlier in that example for like break of 50, maybe I need to be a little bit more aggressive toward just throwing out the orders and seeing how the trade does. Let me just make sure I'm on single screen. Okay, I am. Yeah, so for those of you in the chat room, not the chat room, the YouTube stream, let me know how you guys did on the month. Yeah. Kay, I was, sometimes when you're on here just speaking, you can definitely be a little bit more informal, and I gotta keep it professional. So when I was about to say bands, billion is the next thing that just came into my mind to say. But yeah, got to keep it professional here because, at the end of the day, you never know who's watching, right? As in like potential partners, potential connections, relationships. And then on top of that, you never know where people are listening. Some people might be listening in a living room TV and there could be kids in the background. So I try not to cuss. I mean, sometimes it'll happen, but I try not to. You just never know who's watching, where they're watching, and if there's kids in the background, So you got to try to keep it clean. But yeah, man, it's been quite the. Let's pull up my calendar here one more time. I can post to the chat room as well. Another tough month here for the Pastor, bro. I mean, I'm very blessed to not be under any pressure. Like financially, that's good. And mentally, I do feel fine, which is the weirdest part of it, because usually if I'm having trouble trading mentally, I'm like dealing with something, right? I gotta do more reviews of prior days. Like my number of trades being lower is one of the biggest things I've noticed. Let's pull up the calendar again. Yeah, so what I can do, I'll just kind of do like a May to May comparison actually, just to see back in that month how many trades I took on average last year. So we've had a few decent green days, but not that many. Wednesday looks like we had 2 days of about 2K. Normally when I'm trading, like making 2K, getting up to 2K feels like nothing. Recently that hasn't been the case, right? Of course, we've sized down, which is also part of it. But we've been very inconsistent through and through. And so seeing a lot of red on a day like this, we're up 500, red 600, and up 800, and then just, kind of brutalized here on the way down. So looking through some of these red days, let's take a look at this one. This one 4K started a couple of maybe 1 or 2 green trades, and then absolutely brutalized here on the way down. I haven't really had a hard time in a long time. It's been, I think, since January, February of 2022, since I really had like a slower patch. And those 2 months were red and or flat. And we had the banking crisis, I believe. Was that 23? I think that was 22. It could have been 23 as well. The banking crisis. But anyhow, January, February 2022 was slower, and then things kind of got a little bit, then we started to roll a little bit more. Let's look at some other reports here. Let's do year to date. Let me show you guys the drawdown, where I can't believe, it's like I still can't even believe I'm in a drawdown. It's just, let's go to, can we look at the last 30 days? I always forget how to use this thing. Every time I come in here, I forget how to use. Okay, here it is right here. Yeah, so the last 30 days hasn't been great, which has basically been the last month. The last 60 days, which is usually absurd, because when in the past, if I'm to ever click on this, it's like at worst case 30,000 plus, So this is like a little brutal here in the last 3 months. So we've been largely sideways and then in a downtrend from April 15th or so and to today. And so, again, it's why we've sized down. If we can see right here, to pull out the drawing tool, we did have some improvement with the red being smaller, which is good. Higher lows. And then, the aim is to come back small, slow, and steady to the green side. But I don't know, man. Like I for what I see and what I like to trade, this momentum has just been, it's been terrible for me. I don't know. There are things that I need to change too. Typically when we're coming into the open and the main stock starts to sell off, I'd switch away to find something uptrending out of the 4 or 5 stocks in the watch list. And a lot of times I'll come back, right? This is pre-market, stock going into the open. We start that dip. Then I come back and we're like already back at a red to green, sometimes even halted up. And I'm missing a lot of these key reversal trades I've noticed as well. And again, part of that is because, in prior markets, typically what was working early was what was trending up and not showing any sort of weakness towards pullbacks, right? Especially if we start green and then give back the entire move to then go back up again. So in those moments, I think sticking to that one stock throughout that initial dip, being able to position myself to catch a potential red to green, and then, you know, try to watch for the curl back up. What I do know is that if things are to go back to what I know works very well for what, you know, for me, I know what to expect. But until then, we'll have to adjust and also put things in place so that we can make money in this momentum that we're seeing right here, right now, today, right? I think some hold times also have to be considered. You know, getting certain pullbacks and keeping in mind, despite the higher fills, that the move to the upside is still worth it, right? You know, I think for me that's a big thing, because I've programmed my mind to immediately get out when I'm in higher. But, you know, I still have to do a better job thinking about what it really means to get back to the previous, you know, resistance, right? So if I'm in down here, if I'm in here, but I wanted to get filled here, let's say, I still got to watch that trade for that curl back up. And then, you know, into the highs. If I'm getting out here or above the highs, slightly below the highs, at the highs. The red days, they build character. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You guys know that Katy Perry song. I think it's Katy Perry. So we will definitely be parading into the green when the time has arrived. And it'll feel better than ever because, you know, of course, you've went through a little bit of hardship. So again, January, February, I think this weekend is going to be a good weekend to stay home, do some revision on the month, and, you know, write out some new rules, write out some new adjustments and things that can help us into the new month. I think April, not bad. A bit of a struggle, but still not bad. But May, a little too long until we took a little too long to then go into trader rehab. And we had this brutal day here. Today we did use a little bit more size as well towards the pennies. You know, it's this thing where I got to be careful because I did felt pretty confident in this uptrend here. So I'm like, okay, let's look to hit it hard in some of the good trades, and then, you know, ease off when we get to a backside. And then the front side, we're not able to capture this move properly. Brutal day here for this loss on SGN. And that trade, again, is one of those trades that, you know, I really love. Good setup, but just absolute flush out. So in comparison to last year and prior years, it's definitely been, you know, a slower start. And we had someone mention the pennies. If I'm to come back to, I think it was November or was it December? November of last year. This is all pennies. Like all these days here are basically penny stocks. You know, so pennies still have opportunities. They still have opportunities. The pennies were raving back in these days. Again, you know, the average trade around 150, let's say. I mean, so we did have some days though of less than 100, but around 150. Let's check December here just to see. I think December was more of a mix, higher price stocks. You know, a couple of days of less than 100, 170, 150, 170, 160, 137, 133, 204. I think this is one of the biggest things I'm noticing. Let me check January of this year. My total number of trades have been around like 80 trades or so. Mentally, it doesn't feel like I'm hesitating in most areas. There'll be a few areas where like I'm hesitating a little there, but the tape, the level 2, there's a lot of things that are not quite what I would expect in certain areas. And I've always been a little bit more relaxed, I would say, towards certain entries. So being more aggressive could also be a change that I have to make, right? Also seeing more than 100 trades on most days here. Let's check February. A little less trades in some days, but still around 100 for the most part. 263. I usually don't have days of over like 300 trades though. Even in the past, it's a little bit more rare for me to be over 300 trades. Another thing is, so I'll definitely have to work up a game plan this weekend throughout revising. I had to take my time and talk here. Jeez. I think sticking around a little longer will also make a little bit more sense. But, part of that will be really and truly still buying into the longevity throughout the course of a day. Sometimes we are seeing good opportunities later in the day. I remember one thing that Crispy had told me one time is that he even goes as far, let's say if he didn't cook like, meal prep or something like that, he'll go as far to make sure that he delivers food to his house, like get it delivered, than to leave, right? And this is something that I still will do from time to time, is to leave to go get some quick lunch somewhere at like a store nearby. It is honestly worth paying the extra $5 or $10, whatever it is, to stick around and just have the food delivered. That way you can be here, be more present. If something does end up moving, you can see it a little bit more, you can see it a little quicker. You're present, you're here, and you can have the opportunity to get involved if it does go. I think that's also a good adjustment that I can make. And so, coming in for pre-market, coming in early, going slow in pre-market, pacing myself, getting a good start into the open, and then taking it slow from there, and managing risk and share size as I go, to be able to then trade later into the day as well, because we'll see some good stocks from time to time. The absolute depths of 2025. So in a perfect world, in another universe, I'd have already thought I would have been up like 300K or more on the year at this halfway point. We got another month before it's a halfway point, but yeah. All right, so that'll do it. We can look at the drawdown in the a little bit more grand aspect, and then I will be out of here. Let's come to let's see, win-loss expectation. And then here's the drawdown. Bro, this is insane. I despise seeing this stuff, man. Like there's two things I despise seeing. This, and then this one here is just as painful. This statistic here. If you guys ever seen like a Ross recap, if he does a monthly recap, you'll see the green bar goes all the way here, and the red bar is it's like this. Really, really small. So I think for me, this has been something, and I think this is good. This is good because it's going to force me to keep being better, right? Throughout my career, even like last year on a record year, I've had a lot of like losses still. Like this bar has still been high. And, we have to continue to work to where we are retaining more of our gains. So, I'm going to continue to do the study sessions, by myself and also collectively with groups, right? Study sessions, review sessions, with students, with peers. I'm going to continue to grind. I'm going to continue to put things in place to see what I can't do, or let's say what I can do. I think that's a better way to phrase it. What I can do to be better here. Because with all these gains, you know, just imagine if these losses are, you know, just towards $1 million alone. There's 2 extra million right there. Boom. Add it to your bank account. You pay Uncle Sam and then you're good to go. Ah, man, I can't believe this, man. Look at this drawdown, just here mocking me. But when I get to new highs, it's gonna feel that much sweeter. Okay, all right, I think that'll do it. So for those people who are watching on, stay safe, stay green, enjoy the weekend, study up. If you're also having a red month, this is the perfect time and the perfect weekend to study up. Come with your game plan, come with your rules, come correct. You know, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you've started, you know, 6 months ago, 6 years ago, last week, today. If there's room to improve, then there's work to do. There's work to be done. So, you know, we have to utilize any sort of red day, red week, red month as motivation and stay determined to then come again and be more prepared, be better. So the first thing you guys can expect is that on Monday I'll be in here and I'll be locked and loaded, ready to go for the pre-market session at 7 a.m. sharp market time. I'll be in the chat room as well, and I'll start trading a little earlier there. You know, pre-market has been sensational. For those people who haven't seen or looked at the pre-market charts, you know, we're getting a stock, maybe even 2 of them, at least 2 probably, I'd say 2 a day, like GITS. And it's all about seeing these a couple of times and understanding how to position yourself to capture these type of early moves. SBET the other day, there are a few people who made millions on this stock, guaranteed. You know, there's people doing this stuff. And if that's all I need to know, that's all I need to know is that there's people doing it. You know, we saw Ross, someone posted Ross's P&L in the chat. Up 200K, up 150K in this move right here, pre-market of SBET going from $10 up to $35 in the pre-market session. So the key will be seeing these moves and understanding how to jump in, how to manage risk. And, you know, it can definitely help us in a lot of ways, right? Being confident in holding a little longer and capturing more of these opportunities, because from $10.20 to $35 is insanity, man. And then some people naturally their trade style is to hold longer. So imagine if you're in at 11 and you know you get that good cost basis, 12, maybe you add it a little bit. Even if your average is like 14, 15, 16, and this thing's consolidating up at 20, you feel so comfortable in the trade, you know? Into the open, we had that very obvious resistance at 35. Once we're able to break, it trends all the way up to 50. I know for a fact people made millions on this. And then on the short side too. So as much as we've improved and as much as we've done, there's still good ways to go. We're still at the end of the day at the beginning of our trading career, right? Because we're looking at this not just for today and tomorrow, but the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. I want to be at the age of 75 still being able to take trades. So I have a lifetime to go. So best to keep at it and to keep improving now so that we have a brighter future for tomorrow. So this weekend is going to be a good weekend. I think starting the studying early will be good. And so I am going to take a break. I'm going to go out. I'm going to have a nice lunch later today around 5 p.m., 6 p.m. And then You know, I might go to a massage parlor and get a massage, because I've been thinking about doing this for a while. I think it'll be good. I've been going to the gym a ton, and you know, sometimes you can get a little sore. So I'm going to treat myself, get a nice massage, come back in later in the evening, and then start to prepare and plan, right? Go through the metrics in more detail, go over some trading days in more detail, write down rules, and, you know, by the time Sunday evening comes, already in the mindset, already in the zone, and then come Monday morning, we're ready to hit the ground running. So it should be a good weekend. It will be a good weekend. I expect you guys to also put in the work for those people who've had a hard time. If you're in a good zone, of course, you still want to do your studying still. That way you don't miss anything, or, you know, miss out on any key areas you might need to work on. But for the people who are able to be green and holding it down in these trickier months, way to go, and keep dominating, right? So whether it's the general chat room member, the YouTube audience, the students, the other team house members, anybody in the community who is able to do well, keep locking in, and let's push forward. So the road ahead is clear. What comes down to it now is putting in the work, and the work we will put in. And so let's lock in. Stay safe, stay green for those of you going the distance. I know my desk is kind of, maybe I bring my desk down a little more here. There we go, a little bit better. Yeah, continue to be disciplined if you're going all the way till 4 p.m. Perhaps later than that. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys later. I'll start the stream at like 8:30, because I do plan on trading pre-market with my sibling. I have a sibling that trades, and also I'll be in the chat room. I think at some point I'll probably stream earlier, like the moment I start streaming. But I think for the first at least week or two, maybe even the first month, the first hour I'll just trade to myself and then be ready to go. But I will be in the chat room though. I will be in the chat room calling out stocks and setups that I see. But yeah, take care, stay safe, stay green, and I'll catch you guys on Monday. Monday fun day coming up. All right. Take care. Let's see here. Okay. All right, guys. And by the way, subscribe to the channel if you're new. That way you can watch this story play out back when we're dominating with massive green days. All right.